Hello, Lucia. Thank you so much for joining us today and doing this testimonial after the 6 months accelerator program that you joined at Creators for Good. I would like you to introduce yourself, maybe to start, and for the benefit of those who are watching this video, tell us where you live and what is it that you do.
Hi, I'm Lucia Dorr. I'm actually based in New Zealand, Queenstown, New Zealand. And I came back from the Middle East a couple of years ago. So the project that as I was a journalist in the Middle East, a financial journalist and editor. So the project we're working on, and I'm working with a colleague in Saudi Arabia, is called, it's Mizan Journalism School. That's MIZAN. And we have started by looking at the opportunity to teach Saudi women the best way to write editorials so that they become more empowered and that their voice is heard within the media, both in the Middle East and around the world.
And in what situation were you before we start working together?
We had an idea that we hadn't drilled it down, and we didn't know how to start because the project itself is very large and very scalable. But with any project, you have to start somewhere. And we decided starting small, or with Arab women as a subset of larger communities, was a good place to start. And speaking with Creators for Good allowed us to do that.
Okay. And why did you choose to work with me in particular?
I didn't spend my time finding you. My colleague in Saudi Arabia did. So she was the one who found a number of people and said, hey, this looks good. Do you want to try this? This might work for you. Because it worked for her as well that I was dealing with somebody else rather than just with her, given my experience. And I'm effectively the driving force in a way behind the project. I'm the one who has to make the final decisions and to make sure things are moving.
How did you find the money to invest into the program, knowing that when you start with a project, you don't really know when or how much you'll be able to get as revenues? So how did you make this decision to invest in advance?
I made that decision because I thought for me, that was an investment in myself. And I have been, and I've been in the fortunate position that I had come from the Middle East with substantial payoffs, if you like. And I still have some things going on in Europe as well. So financially, it was something I could do, and I chose to do that because I saw that as a good way of using money. It was an investment that was worthwhile, that it would help to hone my skills and focus me on something more positive, on what I think is really a complicated project.
Okay. And what has been or have been the results for the work that we have been doing together?
Well, I think the result has meant that I have been able to focus on the project in a way I wouldn't have otherwise. And I've actually, I think, and I have been going over the information more recently as well, been able to focus on certain steps and find a way forward, which I think on my own would not have been possible, particularly in terms of the course outline and how to deal with that, and then how to and when to blog, and just some of the issues that was easier to hone down, and somehow it doesn't seem as big when you can just turn it down and become smaller, you can actually deal with it. When it's too big, it's all a bit daunting. So ultimately, I was able to make the project smaller, or know where to start.
And what has been the biggest change for you?
Getting the project up and running.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think that it's sped up the process. It's meant that I have been much more in the driving seat than I would have been otherwise. So I could tell my colleague in Saudi, I think this, and this should be done now. And this is why. And these are the options. And these are the things we ought to fill in now, rather than being more collaborative. Although it's still collaborative, somebody still has to make a final decision. Somebody has to say this, this, and this. And then, so that's become much more me. I think that is the biggest change.
Okay, great. So yeah, it's speed and the ability to have a more clear vision to move forward instead to be...
Definitely focus. Yeah, exactly. To focus and to make something greater, smaller. Scalability is important, but you still have to start somewhere.
Great. And so that was the starting point. And something else I wanted to ask you is, what would you say to people who are watching this video and who hesitate working with me?
I don't think people should hesitate. I think it's a worthwhile investment, as long as you are willing to put in the time. It may not always happen in the same way as you had envisaged, but that's also a good thing. I think that you have to just be able to sort of enjoy the process as well. And I think being able to discuss it with somebody who is aware of some of the issues, because I've been through it before, is useful, because everybody comes across something different. And although it might be the first time for us, it's not the first time for Celine at Creators for Good.
Do you have any final words?
No, except to say that I think the process was worthwhile. I think it was a worthwhile investment. It's made me much more focused than I would have been otherwise. And it's aided in the speed of delivery, the speed and the focus of delivery.
Great. All right. Thank you so much, Lucia.
My pleasure. Okay. Thank you.